So they ended up having, I don't remember exactly offhand how many hazards they had at this plan. I think it was 30.
Because
They cut it
They
down.
combined the terrorism ones together and some of the beautification ones.
So this example from Muscatine County, they had numerous actions.
Yes.
What they
For each
decided to
goal.
do is to brainstorm actions, fit those into the goal categories. So some actions addressed more than one goal. So we referenced that by a number, and then we assigned it what hazards would fall under that action, and then we looked at the categories for the mitigation action and assigned those to the action as well.
So we can come up with an action and then decide whether it's a preventative measure, property protection, public education.
Right. We kind of fit them into the categories after we brainstormed the whole list. And
Yeah,
show an example of those.
I brought copies, fresh off print, of the Muscatine County one. I like to flip through them. The chapter 4 is the mitigation strategy section.
So in the example from Muscatine County, it's not quite in the same order. I just kind of was trying to keep them in kind of similar order just to show the two different plans examples. So as you can see, like, there's 3 of the same goal. I just picked out tornadoes, severe winter storms, and river floods because they're one of the more common ones near the top, just for examples. But this is not how they have them exactly structured in the plan.
So basically the difference between the two plans is the state plan, while not required, they put objectives in to kind of help organize it a little bit more. But their way of organizing it was different than the way that we organized Muscatine County. So it's up to you if you want to have objectives put in place, or we can discuss it after we brainstorm some actions and see if they're necessary as an organizational tool. We didn't find it necessary with the Muscatine County one. I also want to put out there, especially for the smaller communities, you're not obligated to, put out there like 20 mitigation actions. As you'll see when you're looking through the Muscatine County one, they had 3 or 4 that try to address most of the priority hazards. And then we had a group section where it was kind of a county-wide effort, a lot of education ones. For the windstorm one, that was one of the higher ones, they were just starting to implement the 70-mile-an-hour winds or higher, that they do the sirens, which Scott County already does, right, Ross? Yes. So that was an action that was countywide. So those, what we did countywide ones, and then each community had a couple that they varied depending on the community's needs. So I don't want to pressure you into feeling that you need to put a lot in there. But FEMA also wants to let you know it's your wish list on what you'd like to see. If you had, unlimited funds, when you're brainstorming your actions, don't let funding or staffing restrict you what you write down. We'll figure that out through a different process called the state-lead evaluation later on down the road to see if they're feasible. So sky's the limit right now on what you want to do action-wise. And then we'll take a look at what we came up with. So I guess while you guys are looking at the Muscatine County plan, just to see how we'll probably organize it very similarly to this. I did I've drafted chapter 1. It's a really simple chapter. Basically says how each community is going to agree that they would participate, and then they'll show your adoption date when the plan is adopted. They look at it a little bit. They want to see the adoption part first.
Pretty much like what was done in the plan, the strategic plan, that I stated a few years ago.
Yeah, they like
That
to see the
covered a lot of-
adoption.
That covered a lot of
is all what it gets down to is the fourth chapter on what are the actual mitigation actions that you're setting up that you'd like to do. And then the fifth chapter is how is this plan actually gonna be implemented and maintained? So that's how the plan is set up. So I did, this is the draft of it, and it also has a draft resolution that we can use for the adoption when we get to that point. Although, you know, if your community has specific wording they like in their resolutions, you can change it. It's just a standard resolution for adoption. In terms of updating for mapping, we're still working on that. We met with Scott County's GIS department and they passed along some of their data to our GIS department to share. And our GIS person is looking through it and she's gonna start creating maps. So those are hopefully going to be done soon. Scott County also invited our GIS person to come over and look. They have this program FEMA created called HazardMitigation. And basically, it's a prediction model on cost estimate of a hazard, but it only does earthquake, flooding, and wildfires. So the only one we'd use it for is flooding, which is still useful to have, and the plan's required to have some kind of dollar figure involved. So we're gonna work with Scott County doing that. The reason Bi-State can't do it is we don't have a program that's necessary to run it. We don't have the spatial analyst tool, so when we look at our GIS, it's flat. Scott County has kind of a 3D ability to theirs. But we're gonna partner with them to take a look at the cost estimates for that, although it's just a model, so it's not 100%. They just take a look at property values and estimate where the water would be on a house and how much damage it would cause, that kind of thing. So we're hoping to get that done pretty soon. So that's my update on mapping.
Okay, and then development trends is more of a homework assignment you will get. This is what the handout looks like. This will, and this can be either give us before the next meeting or at the next meeting. Pretty much, we want to know of any proposed commercial developments, residential developments, or any other land use changes that you know of right now happening within the next 5 years in your community.
The reason we take these into consideration is because the plan is a 5-year document, so you're supposed to take into consideration any changes in growth and, you know, if you know an area is going to be developing in 2 years, you want to take it into consideration before you adopt your plan. Otherwise,